Hello, everybody. My name is Autumn Papania, and today I will be talking about the cultural group of Southern European Italians. I chose to do this cultural group because half of my family is from this region, and I wanted to learn more about their cultural identity. Southern Europe occupies the southern part of the continent in Europe. It consists of all of these countries that are in orange. The economy is not as strong as other European regions, and Southern Europe is the slowest growing economic region in the continent. And the large economies, especially Italy, is struggling. Spain and Italy are the most industrialized countries in the region, while the remainders are highly dependent on agriculture. Over here on the bottom right is the Italian flag, in which I'm going to be focusing on this specific cultural group. Some background information and current demographics are seen in this table. The majority of immigrants from Southern Europe were Italians who expanded in the United States on the eastern seaboard during the 19th century. Economic conditions in Italy in the 1980s significantly improved when terrorism ended, along with the oil crisis. In 2010, there were over 17 million Americans of Italian descent, which also include my dad's side of the family as well. And most of these Italian Americans live in major cities. Most Italians today have white collar jobs and are skilled laborers. There are four generations of Italians that live in the United States today. This includes elderly people who live in urban Italian neighborhoods, middle-aged individuals who live in urban or suburban setting. The well-educated younger Italian Americans live in suburban areas, and very recent immigrants do not have a specified area of living. As assimilation increases among individuals in the United States, we can expect these demographics to change. The Italian food guidance system emphasizes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fat-free, and milk products. This diet also includes lean meats, poultry, fish, beans, eggs, nuts, and focuses on low saturated fats, trans fats, cholesterol, sodium, and sugars. The key recommendations for the Italian diet include grains, veggies, fruits, fiber, healthy fats, fish and lean protein, milk, and dairy. Limited salt and added sugar, and a balance of physical activity with food. A few key points that make their food guidance system unique is that Italians eat veggies in a variety of pastas, seafood, and pizzas, and they get their fruit intake by having fresh fruits for dessert, usually after meals. Italians mainly get their fiber intake from legumes, which are beans, veggies as well, fruits, and grains. Italians do not usually have to worry about physical activity, as physical activity is in the most daily routines due to the regular part of living and culture. Common foods and meal patterns for breakfast. You may have heard breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but in Italy, this is not always the case. Unlike the big breakfast we eat here in the United States, in Italy, breakfast is usually a lighter meal that is usually eaten between 7 and 11 a.m. Common foods for breakfast include starting off with a cafe, espresso, cappuccino, tea, and sometimes an orange juice. As you can see in the picture on the top, you have your cappuccino with these delicious breakfast pastries. The one on the left is a cornetto, which is a croissant that is usually a little buttery and slightly sweet. The breakfast item on the right, which is slightly hidden, is a crostata, which is a croissant that is filled with fruit jam, sour cherry, apricot, or wild berry filling. Other meal patterns for breakfast in Italy include donuts, vinoiserie, which is a sweet bun, and fresh fruit. Lunch in Italy is usually eaten no later than 1 p.m. and restaurants close between lunch and dinner. In large tourist areas, restaurants may be open all night. Lunch is typically the largest meal a day in Italy, and the shops get closed between 1 and 4 p.m. Lunch usually starts with a starter, which includes salami, hams, prosciutto, caprese salad that has tomatoes and mozzarella cheese with slight olive oil. And this salad is in the bottom right corner here. After the starter comes the first course meal, which consists of pasta, rice, soup, or pizza. One example of a first course meal is this pasta called bucatini alla matisiana, and this is a famous Roman dish consisting of tomatoes and zucchini. The second course meal is then eaten and usually consists of meat or fish with a side dish of veggies or salad. On the top right are lamb skewers, which is an example of a second course meal that is commonly eaten in Italy. The second course is then followed by fruit with dessert. Most Italians eat these courses in small portions. During the week, the meal pattern for lunch is usually a small portion of a first course and a second course meal, followed by a fruit. However, for special lunches and usually on the weekends, all courses will be eaten. Common desserts are usually eaten after lunch. Three of the most common desserts in Italy include cannolis, gelato, and tiramisu. Cannolis are pretty much found on every corner in Italy. It is a tube-shaped shell that is filled with a delicious crisp and filled with creamy ricotta. The ends of the cannolis are generally dipped in chocolate chips, pistachios, or canned fruits. Ricotta is actually a type of cheese. Like for us, it would be similar to a sweet cream cheese. Gelato is not just ice cream, rather, it was way less butter fat and it freezes less solidly than ice cream and it melts in your mouth much faster. I have actually experienced eating gelato in Italy and it's actually pretty amazing. Tiramisu is a dessert that is made with coffee and cocoa. Biscuits are generally dipped and soaked in coffee, and in between layers is Italian cream cheese called mascarpone, and it's kind of similar to soft butter or like thick cream. Dinner is generally the largest meal eaten in Italy. Some examples of common foods for dinner include salads, pizza, lasagna, and steaks. Unlike lunch, where everyone usually eats multiple courses, dinner is usually pretty light. Some Italians skip dinner or just go out for a quick bite of pizza. The other common foods for dinner are eaten in small portions. The pizza that is most common is the margherita pizza, shown in the bottom left picture, and this pizza is a legendary combination of tomatoes, mozzarella cheese, and basil. The authentic lasagna is a wide, flat pasta noodle that is generally baked in layers in the oven, and tomatoes are used along with fresh mozzarella cheese. One thing I do want to mention is when I did visit Italy 2 years ago, I did go to major cities like Rome, Palermo. When I did visit those cities, my family and I, we were able to eat dinner late and we ate big portions because the major tourist cities did include to have those meals because they were expecting people from other countries like United States. So there is exceptions in specific tourist areas, but the general population of Italians who live in these places follow these regimens. The flavors of Italian cuisine include olive oil, basil, tomatoes, dry cured meats, and cheeses. Olive oil is used during cooking variety of meals, including pasta, salads, and also used for a dip for bread as well. Olive oil can also be used to top dishes, for instance, drizzling over tomatoes. Basil is a common flavor used in many Italian dishes. Basil is used in tomato sauces for fresh taste and also found in famous caprese salads. Tomatoes are found in just about every single meal in Italian cuisine. This is the heart of flavor principles. It's in pastas, pizzas, salads, and pretty much every meal incorporates some form of tomatoes. Dry cured meats are found in a variety of Italian cuisine, often given a nutty protein to any dish. Examples are carbonara, which is a pasta with dried pork, or prosciutto, which is a dried cured ham served on the side of main pasta dishes, or as an appetizer with cheese and bread. Cheeses bring the richness to many dishes in the Italian cuisine. There are many preparation techniques that are used in Italy. These happen to be the most common that I found. Alla bolognese is tomatoes and veggies are cooked for several hours over heat. Al dente, which is pasta is undercooked the first time. Al dente is then cooked again, making a firm pasta. So that firm, nice taste, texture in your mouth is al dente. They refer to that as al dente. Risotto is sauteed short grain rice in olive oil with added meat, usually cooked without a lid. Al forno, which refers to pizza and pastas that are cooked in the oven or open flame grills. Alla caprese is a combination of staple ingredients such as mozzarella, basil, olive oil, and tomatoes for pastas and specific spaghetti dishes. Alla mattone is a brick that is applied to anything being cooked for grilling or sauteing. Al genovese is pounding or crushing olive oil, pine nuts, basil, and garlic to make a sauce. Battuto is finely chopped celery, onions, carrots, parsley, and dried meats that form the base for many types of pastas. Crudo is a mixture of raw food in Italy, including seafood, fish, which is very thinly sliced and topped with olive oil and then is served. It can also include raw veggies that's topped on different pastas. Health status in Southern Europe is known to be very well. Italy is known for an overall superior health system, as they are the sixth highest life expectancy since 2015, due to the variety of vegetables, fruits, major flavor proteins, and high walking rates on a daily basis lead to their longevity. The water intake for most individuals in Southern Europe also contribute to a longer life expectancy. Italians consume high amounts of mineral water compared to other countries, which helps them have that high longevity and aspect of living. Italy's healthy cuisine and fresh-made food ensures that Italians are well nourished. I noticed when I went to Italy, due to the elevation from Florida, Florida's really flat, that I actually was able to eat more because the food was so fresh. I went about 2 years ago, so I was able to experience. We would walk 14 miles a day. So now I got to see like the general lifestyle of an everyday Italian, which overall contributes to their health status in Southern Europe. In Italy, everyday life consists of attending Roman Catholic Church. Every town or village has at least one Catholic church. Over 95% of Italians are baptized, saints, First Communions, and the majority of Italians prefer to be married in a church. Immigrants who settled in the United States established parishes which were geared toward the Roman Catholics. Once churches became established in the United States for these Italian Americans, this helped immigrants adjust. One example of a Roman Catholic church in Italy is the Vatican, which is the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. It is seen here on the right picture. It is also the home to the Pope in architecture. This is a famous church that attracts pilgrims from all over the world who come and gather together to seek prayer. It's extremely beautiful on the inside. I was able to visit the Vatican 2 years ago. One religious festival that is a part of the daily spiritual life in Italy is the Feast of San Gennaro, which has been shifted to the United States and is still celebrated today. So that's a gathering in the spiritual. Christmas in Italy is extremely important to Italians. Christmas in Italy is celebrated from December 24th to January 6th, which is Christmas Eve to Epiphany, and is referred to 12 days of Christmas. One of the most important aspects of Christmas in Italy is the nativity crib scene. This is the birth of Jesus and started in Italy as a tradition back in 1223 in the Middle Ages. This was to remind the local population that Jesus was born for them. Naples in Italy is famous for crib making, and this became popular in the 16th century. These cribs are put on the 8th of December, and the baby Jesus is not put into the crib until the evening of December 24th. Christmas Eve is on December 24th and consists of no meat and sometimes no dairy. Light seafood such as fish is eaten. Common fish include bacala, octopus, and shellfish served with vegetables such as artichokes, zucchini, and broccoli. Another traditional food on Christmas Eve is usually some type of pasta with seafood. An example would be linguine white clam sauce, which has the recipe provided right here next to the picture. I had this dish. It's extremely good. I had it when I went to Italy in Rome. It's 3/4 cup olive oil, 4 cloves of garlic chopped, 1.5 dozen cherry stone clams, 1 pound of linguine, and 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. How it's cooked is actually quite interesting, so I'm going to let you know how that works. The olive oil is heated in a large pan over medium heat, and then the garlic is added and cooked until brown. Clams are then added and brought to a boil and then lowered to simmer for 5 to 10 minutes. A large pot of water is added to the stove along with 1 tablespoon of salt, and then the linguine is added. This is cooked until al dente, which is the firm taste of pasta. The pasta is then drained and added to the pot with the sauce. This pasta is then topped with parsley. Extremely delicious meal. On Christmas Day, lunch is the main meal and usually consists of meat-based pastas. The starting meal around lunch begins with dry cured meats, salami, Italian cheese, olives, and artichokes. The first course right after usually consists of baked pasta. An example of baked pasta would be baked cannelloni. This pasta consists of olive oil, crushed garlic, red wine, tomatoes, rosemary leaves, minced beef meat, spinach, parmesan, ricotta, milk, flour, nutmeg, and dried cannelloni. After the baked pasta, the main event is the braised beef, roasted veal, or baked chicken. The picture of the braised beef is actually in the top right corner, where it's generally just a slab of beef. They cook it in the oven with a few of the flavor principles mentioned earlier, and that is after the pasta. After this course comes the dessert, and it's served usually, and it consists of sweet bread, cookies, chocolate or coffee flavored ricotta filled omelettas, and nut pastries. The Feast of Epiphany is celebrated January 6th and is a national holiday in Italy. The main day for present giving is actually Epiphany and not Christmas Day, like here in the United States. Epiphany represents the 12th day of Christmas, when there was 3 wise men who arrived at the manger bearing gifts for baby Jesus. La Befana is a witch woman who rides a broom and refused to join the wise men on their journey to seek baby Jesus, and when she regrets her decision, she leaves gifts for other children, and Italian children usually leave out their stockings for La Befana, and this tradition comes from a Christian legend. Epiphany meal traditions include usually an antipasto, which is the various meats, olives, and cheese. Then a pasta dish is then served just like Christmas Day, such as lasagna or baked ziti. Dessert usually consists of traditional Christmas ravioli, which are honey balls. So the stuffed strofoli is like honey balls, they're little balls, and added sprinkles and sometimes a little candy, cherries in between. Easter in Italy is a huge holiday and is second to Christmas in importance to Italians. La Pasquetta, the Monday after Easter Sunday, is a public holiday throughout Italy. On Easter Sunday, many churches have special statues of Virgin Mary and Jesus that are paraded through the city and displays in the main square. People dress in green and white on Easter Sunday, and these colors represent peace, hope, and resurrection. Food plays a big role in these celebrations and often include lamb or goat, artichokes, and specific breads that have different variations among cities in Italy. Other common foods include fresh beans, salami with boiled eggs, and pastera napolitana, which is a typical Easter cake made of short crust pastry filled with ricotta cheese, eggs, and cooked wheat berries. Dove-shaped bread, known as colomba, are often given as gifts, along with chocolate hollow eggs that have surprises inside. That's the common tradition for Easter in Italy. Food taboos in Italy include pizza with pineapple. Pizza in Italy never has pineapple, and this is considered forbidden. Pasta with ketchup. You will never find ketchup on pasta in Italy as it is used today in the United States. Vinaigrette dressing. Dressing is big in the United States for salads. However, in Italy, olive oil, salt, and a drip of vinegar is used. Red wine and fish. Ordering red wine with fish is considered rude in Italy. So these are completely forbidden. Having a lunch or dinner drinking coffee. Espresso is only to have for breakfast or after a meal. If you drink espresso or cappuccino before a meal, this is considered rude. No walking and eating. This is considered rude gesture in Italy. So if you're walking and eating, they may look at you, down upon you. Do not expect much for breakfast. You won't find eggs or other hot breakfasts like in the United States. I remember going actually to Italy and we would get breakfast and it would just be, a pastry and the cappuccino. And I was kind of wondering, do they have eggs or bacon? It's not the same. So don't expect to eat those big American breakfasts in Italy because it's not common. Parmesan cheese. Italians are strict on what meals have cheese on them. So Parmesan will be offered only when it's supposed to go on the meal. Medicinal uses of food in Italy include basil, which is a good source of antioxidants. It lowers blood sugar levels and reduces fever and infections caused from insects. Lavender is used as a cure for stress and headaches, along with reducing levels of depression. Fennel is another plant. It aids in digestion and it stimulates appetite and helps increase breast milk production. Calendula is a cure for skin rashes, skin conditions, and swelling. You can kind of see the calendula right there. It's in the yellow flower. It kind of looks like a yellow flower. Juniper aids in fluid retention and provides a strong anesthetic for urinary tract. That is shown, that has the tiny little purple dots in between the plant there, you can see. Lemon is a strong antioxidant and reduces fever. It's actually commonly used here in the United States as well. And garlic, which is a strong antibiotic and expels worms from the stomach. So these are just common herbs, plant-based food used for medicinal uses in Italy.